Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos.
Is it possible to please everyone when you have a fan base larger than the population of most countries? There are few people in entertainment that have the kind of fame and influence that Felix Schellberg, aka PewDiePie, has achieved. He's practically the face of YouTube. I say practically because the platform has a love-hate relationship with the star that could currently be labelled as complicated. Schellberg is most assuredly the most recognisable and relevant star on YouTube. However, his current incarnation doesn't fit in well with the advertiser-friendly algorithm the platform is currently desperate to calcify. For those who have followed Schellberg's career as PewDiePie, it's evident why he became successful. There's a wide-eyed earnestness to his early videos. He was the kind of funny, charming, everyman child that gamers flocked to back when the platform had little focus on video games and the concept of live plays was in its infancy. Over the years he's gone through the same kind of evolution that many artists face. The backlash of achieving unparalleled success, having his brand monetised, flirtations with turning his one-man channel corporate, and scandals that have made him an easy target in the mainstream media. The two largest controversies that still plague Felix involved a highly inappropriate joke that went too far, paying Fiverr freelancers to flash a sign that reads "Death to all Jews," and using the N-word in a moment of frustration while live streaming. There are those in the media who were quick to paint Schellberg as a closeted racist, and to be fair, he's made it extremely easy for journalists to paint him with that broad brush. For the most part, Felix keeps his content light. Reaction videos, meme reviews, and commentaries on whatever drama YouTube or social media has produced that week. There are times when he gets serious, like the many opportunities he's taken to raise money for charities totaling in the millions of dollars. Based on his actions, Schellberg has clearly done more good than bad for the world around him. So why do many bad people see him as a kindred spirit? An answer to that question can be found in some of his other less comedic fare. He occasionally dabbles into book reviews, everything from Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho to Luke Reinhardt's The Dice Man. He's also devoted time to professing a great deal of admiration for prolific Japanese author Yukio Mishima. Mishima was a poet, novelist, playwright and filmmaker. Schellberg's admiration of this author could easily be seen as innocuous. More controversial elements of Mishima's past could easily be a target for the mainstream media. But it was, in fact, the alt-right website The Daily Stormer that posted an article and link to the video pointing out Mishima's violent and nationalist past. This is the kind of onion that gets peeled apart when someone of Schellberg's influence shares his opinions. On the surface, it could be nothing more than an enthusiastic reader and Japanese cultural admirer discovering a new author. But to those who look to lionize or vilify him, there are layers they can discover to put together their own specific portrait that speaks to their predetermined perceptions of who Schellberg is and what he represents. The truth becomes an inconvenient obstacle. Whenever Schellberg has found himself in a jam, there are those who are quick to come to his defence. After his "Death to all Jews" joke landed with an internet-shattering thud, those who knew him best jumped to his defence with videos and social media posts mirroring Schellberg's own claims of "I'm not a racist, it was just a joke." A majority of fans echoed that sentiment. The truth is, we only see what content creators allow us to see, brief glimpses into their psyche hastily edited together for a video platform that rewards quantity over quality. Making assumptions of a person's complete identity based on fragments of their life provided in an online content is impossible. However, YouTube and creators like Schellberg are unique because of the vast amounts of time fans have spent consuming their content. Unlike traditional entertainment paradigms, YouTube has erased a significant portion of the roadblocks that separate fans and artists. Popular YouTube channels pride themselves on interacting with fans and having the kind of relationship that is generally avoided or unavailable to the traditional entertainment industry. The amount of time someone spends smashing the like button on creative videos is based on liking the creator as much as the content. You don't end up the most subscribed channel on YouTube without being generally likeable. So how exactly did a charismatic content creator from Sweden become an unlikely hero of the alt-right and a target for mainstream media? PewDiePie's channel sprung up from the virulent soil of online video game culture, which is perceived by many to be a male-leaning entertainment medium. Shellberg referred to his fans as bros, ending earlier videos by offering a bro fist to his fans. It almost seemed ironic as Shellberg's on-screen persona was far from the traditional perception of the male gamer. His content wasn't testosterone-fueled, aggressive videos featuring AAA games. He was a charismatic, emotionally exaggerated clown who had become known for his extreme reactions to playing scary games. Half the fun of watching Felix in the early days was knowing that any moment a game could completely unravel him with hilarious results. Yet the overall perception for the media is that Shellberg is just another bro in a cesspool of toxic masculinity. That perception makes him an easy target for the media, who already views him as a privileged white male. It's the same reason that other privileged white males gravitate towards him. Shellberg's fan base is broad and global, but things like the bro fist and bro army give a male-centric impression. A perception that Felix enjoys having fun with. He has distanced himself from the bros verbiage and bro fist in recent years, but the label continues to be associated with him by the media and those less familiar with his content. After years of watching the PewDiePie channel, it's hard to dismiss rationally levied criticisms that Shellberg comes across as slightly derogatory to women. Whether intentional or not, he's often seen lobbing harsh criticism towards other female YouTube creators at a much higher rate than male creators. His reaction videos to episodes of Dr. Phil are much more likely to feature troubled teenage girls, as are the episodes themselves. He routinely uses the phrase "respect whamming," which is a meme used to identify content that tries to be portrayed as feminist friendly but has the opposite impact. To Shellberg, it appears to be part of the joke, but it's a joke a lot of people don't find all that funny. His views towards women seem to be rooted in the pubescent phase of male adolescence. The person he portrays in his content has the kind of perpetual man-child persona you'd find in any sitcom. There's also his strange, almost puritanical disdain for Twitch thoughts, which are girls who live stream on the popular Twitch platform, often wearing revealing clothing to keep male gamers watching and donating to their channel. Thought is an acronym for "that hoe over there." Calling someone a thought on Twitch conveys an accusation that the person isn't a true gamer, but simply using their sexuality to make a quick buck. Whenever Shellberg discusses Twitch thoughts, his disdain becomes readily apparent. This always struck me as odd since Shellberg built his channel streaming games. Does he resent them for using their femininity to build a channel and get views? Does he not consider them to be real gamers, something that actually matters in the online video game culture? Is he disappointed that these women are manipulating the male fan base and degrading the integrity of the platform? Shellberg's consistent adolescent tone on women is another reason he makes himself an easy target for criticism from the media and celebration from male fans and gamers who see women as second-rate citizens. I'm not sure if he realises that some of his content comes across this way, but there's a certain level of discomfort that creeps in whenever he gets on the pulpit and casts judgment. Shellberg presents himself as a common-sense everyman. His political and ideological leanings are something he doesn't actively discuss. Every so often viewers are given clues when he promotes certain schools of thought. He has passively endorsed controversial figures like Jordan Peterson and actively endorsed conservative pundit Ben Shapiro, even letting him guest host a segment of his popular meme review series. From a strictly observational point of view, Shellberg seems to subscribe to the "it's not that bad" school of thought. He sees the online social justice warriors and highly triggered members of the online community as laughable, and freely mocks those with more fringe points of view on the status quo. He also prescribes to a nothing is off limits school of comedy, which sees him hitting on some topics that other creators would avoid. Furthermore, he has no problem joking about perceived stereotypes, nor will he avoid the opportunity to take a shot at someone's appearance. Shellberg is no fan of the politically correct culture. This passive dismissiveness makes it easy for the media to paint him as the bastion of white privilege, while the alt-right community sees him as a hero for sticking it to the easily agitated Antifa, PC, SJW crowd. What some viewers find the most frustrating is Shellberg's strange lack of self-awareness. Someone with his level of intelligence should be able to understand how people could connect the dots between making jokes like "death to the Jews," saying the N-word on a live stream, and accidentally promoting the channel of a white supremacist could be connected in the eyes of public perception. His apology videos are usually built around the idea that he's not that type of person before hammering the mainstream media for painting an inaccurate portrait. Shellberg's rebuttals to controversy, or oopsies, always come across as honest, but always default to the idea that it was a joke or an error of judgment. When is Shellberg joking? When is he secretly revealing the inner workings of his psyche with a controversial gaffe? It's impossible to truly know a person based on their online persona. Whatever profile you manage to assemble will always remain incomplete, but it's natural for fans to build a rough identity based on their content, especially when that content is someone's upper torso talking to the camera for 10 minutes a day. There's very little room for interpretation when somebody is pretty much speaking their mind directly to the audience. What is intended as a joke and what isn't can become blurry. This is why the media can easily use his mistakes to vilify him, while the alt-right can herald him as a hero to their cause. Because like any popular entertainer, fans project a portion of themselves onto the personality. They want to believe the person they enjoy, or even idolise, is someone that shares the same values and believes in the same things. What the media and fans need to remember is that we can't allow these projections to become perceptions. Just because the alt-right has gravitated towards Shellberg doesn't make him a supporter of their cause. At best, Shellberg feels like an accidental Aryan icon. Someone who has amassed a reputation in the media as being anti-Semitic and racist, mostly due to what he hasn't shared with his audience versus what he has. When he has apologised for using the N-word, he issued a quick 95-second response using the "I'm sorry if I offended anyone" line, which always comes across as disingenuous. The word "if" makes the apology feel forced, since it immediately implies that the person making the statement is conceding that only some people would be offended by the behaviour. There's no sense of ownership in the phrase "I'm sorry if I offended anyone." It renders the user passive in this scenario. Shellberg's apology came across as obligatory, like a kid who has been caught shoplifting and was forced to apologise to the store manager. Like the vast majority of his content, the apology was a quick, highly edited video giving viewers brief glimpses into the kind of person he actually is. He takes the time to apologise, but it's done with the least amount of effort possible. Instead of making positive strides forward, the entire episode has become an off-reference joke from fans and Shellberg himself, making it seem as though he's laughed the entire episode off. It can be difficult to believe that someone feels shame when they make light of shameful behaviour. The persona of PewDiePie is of a perpetual man-child, where Shellberg consistently peddles the idea that the most popular influencer on YouTube is still someone who struggles with his responsibility towards the younger viewers, who lack the ability to discern context from his content. The modern-day version of Charles Barkley's famous "I am not a role model" mantra. The vast amount of support and love he gets from the alt-right is equally troubling, but beyond his control. No matter how many times he declares he wants no associations with the nationalists who hail him as a hero to their cause, there will be those who continue to read between the lines of resolution, even if there's nothing there. Whether Shellberg is any of the things his critics accuse him of remains a circumstantial mystery. Like anyone, he has positive traits and personal flaws. He's stumbled through very public lapses of judgment and has ideological allegiances that some may find troubling. But the idea that Shellberg and the content he produces as PewDiePie is some kind of gateway to a nationalist alt-right ideology is, at best, a reach. More likely, Shellberg's dark sense of humour and flippant attitude towards dissenting voices and critics could normalise bad behaviour to a generation of fans too young to get the joke. The reality for Shellberg is that he is the most famous creator on the cultural cornerstone that YouTube has become. With so much influence and notoriety, there will always be opportunities for controversy. There are those who believe Shellberg should have been cancelled long ago. Every subsequent controversy, from accusations of racism and xenophobia to his inability to take responsibility for the influence he has over impressionable kids, are charges that will continue to be levied against him at every available opportunity. The criticisms and expectations that plague PewDiePie are the same for every celebrity, but in these highly polarising times, does Shellberg, or any person of influence, bear responsibility to do more than the bare minimum to dismiss these allegations? If history is any indicator, Shellberg will continue to court controversy while avoiding audience alienation by taking a definitive position that can be scrutinised and further used against him in an ongoing culture war desperate for new casualties. Until then, PewDiePie will continue to be an enigmatic presence on the pop culture landscape, vilified by some, idolised by others, and misrepresented by the mainstream media, who lack a fundamental understanding of YouTube creators. The answer to the question, who is Felix Shellberg and what are his core beliefs, will continue to be a mystery.